Hey guys, welcome back. Um, just some quick updates before we get started with this video. I did mention that I was going to interview some family for stores, which I did last week. But unfortunately, it's pretty long and I've got to do a lot of editing before I can even post that video. So it'll be a little while before that one's even up. But what my main problem is even after I edit and whatnot, it's still going to be a fairly long video, and it's not just going to be one video. It's going to be several videos that I'm going to chop up and make, basically. But each of them are going to be fairly long, and unfortunately my laptop is still doing that weird thing with its Wi-Fi adapter where it kicks on and off at random points. So uploading such a long video will take forever. So unfortunately, I don't know when I'm going to be uploading those. I will try to keep you guys updated on that. And I'm going to obviously do my best to keep up with you guys. As I said, I will do videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So this one will be hopefully uploaded by midnight tonight or so, I guess. Anyways, let's go ahead and get started. Here's 3 creepy stories that you probably shouldn't listen to alone in the dark. The Whispers. This is a story I do not often tell. I promise sincerely that this has scarred me for life, and although I've looked into psychological explanations for what I heard and natural explanations for what occurred, they remain unsatisfactory. When I was a child, I was scared of the dark. I swore to my mother I heard voices in it. They were not evil, but they were not familiar, and so they scared me. It was not uncommon in the middle of the night for me to wake up and hear whispers, as I would call them when asking my mom. She figured they were just bumps in the night and typical kids' nightmare material. I tried often to explain to her that it was more than that they sounded different from one another the way people's voices do. On some nights, I would get so scared from these whispers that I would sleep in my mom's bed with her. It was an added bonus that the bathroom was directly outside of her bedroom door for my late night tinkles. I should add at this point that when walking out into the hall to go to the bathroom, you look directly down the stairs that would lead you into my living room on the first floor, as my mom's bedroom was on the second floor. On one such night, around Christmas, I awoke and felt the need to relieve myself. I walked out from the door and distinctly heard the phrase, "Look," and to my astonishment, a red light, almost like a spotlight, was cast upon the wall at the very bottom of the stairs. The light had no other source. It was by itself, and I was transfixed by it. Being a little kid and it only being a few days from Christmas, I knew what this light was. It was Santa. How else could he get into my house to know I was being a good boy? I was so excited I began walking down the stairs to greet him, picking up my pace after the second step, as he began to creep off the wall and fade in the darkness in my living room. That's when I heard him, a very strong masculine voice, different from the first. Not at all like my father's. Not to say he isn't masculine, it was just distinctly different. It said, "Stop! Right now! Go back up those stairs!" I listened, turned around, and what happened next I'm not sure I would believe if someone had told me the same story. After reaching the top of the stairs, I heard a very loud crash that sent me running back to my mother's bed, where I jumped straight under the covers and stayed there the whole night. When we woke the next morning, the lights, little Christmas flower lights that glowed red, my mother had put on the railing down the stairs were pulled straight down to the bottom of the stairs, some broken from what seemed like a forceful tear, laying in a single pile. The dry sink in my living room had fallen from the wall. My mother could not explain it. My father was worried we had been the victims of a home invasion. My sister was crying. There was nothing missing. Nobody had broken in. There did not seem to be any reason this had happened. And then I saw it, and I kept quiet about it, because I was so afraid that I could not force words out of my mouth. There, on the edge of the wooden dry sink which had been facing up, were 3 indentions, where the finish on the wood had been worn, almost as if in a forceful grip. Something down there had grabbed it and threw it down. That was what that thing was. I was mortified. After that day, I never heard a single voice again. I do not like to imagine what was waiting downstairs for me that night, if it was anything at all, but I can tell you that the reality was that something had physically acted upon two things in my home, near the bottom of that stairwell. After this, I never heard another whisper again, which is sad because in some ways I would have liked to thank the man, masculine energy, that had stopped me from going down those stairs. This happened when I was 7. I'm 20 years old now, and because of this incident, I am still afraid of the dark, especially shadowy stairwells. The grandfather. My grandfather told me this story about how one time he was sitting in a chair in front of the house, when he heard his wife repeatedly calling him from inside the house. The thing is, my grandmother passed away a few years before that, but he told me that the voice was so pressing that he actually got up to look inside. And as soon as he got inside, he heard a loud crash behind him and turned around to see that the chair he had been sitting in the moments ago had been crushed by the cast iron gutter that fell on it. If he hadn't come inside the house, he would have probably been seriously injured. I don't know if it's paranormal or not, but every time I think about it, it sends chills down my spine. The crib shadow. I was babysitting my niece once while I was staying at my brother's place, and they had the baby camera set up so I could see her on the little TV it came with. I was studying and started dozing off when I heard some whispering and realized it was coming from the monitor. I initially thought it was some feedback or something, but when I looked at the TV, there was a dark shadow near my niece's crib. I'd never been more terrified in my life, but the shadow was clearly there where it had not been before. I ran to my niece's room and looked around and saw nothing, but I took her the hell out of there. I went back to the TV and the shadow was clearly gone. I told my brother what had happened, and he pulled me aside and told me not to mention it to my sister-in-law because she would freak out, but that he had seen the same thing several times now with the same whispering. They stayed in that house for about 4 more years, and when my niece was just learning to talk, she would tell her mom about her special friend. To this day, it scares the shit out of me. When they moved out, my brother told me my niece had become inconsolably sad because she would miss her friend. Her mom would tell her she could bring him along, but all she would say was that he couldn't leave the house. We've never, to this day, told her about that damn shadow, and she apparently never saw it. Alright guys, this is just a quick run through video. I'm hoping to get it down to under 10 minutes anyways. As always, if you do subscribe, share me around to your friends or whatever. As I've said before, I'm always looking for ways to improve my channel. And so leave, ideas in the comments below. And please, no people being flat out rude or anything like that. This is a new channel. I'm still learning. I'm still doing these things. And let's face it, whenever somebody starts out on YouTube, nobody's perfect, okay? I'm definitely trying to work on not talking as fast and trying to keep my voice, good, I guess. I'm experimenting a lot and practicing with friends and family to see what they think. If you have ideas, throw them down in the comments below. If you'd like to share your own personal experiences, throw them down in the comments below. And that's it for now, guys. Stay creepy.